Welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name is Aaron. Today's video is one that you do not want to miss. Yes, it is true that every once in a while I like to remind you guys that there are certain price levels that once Bitcoin surpasses will never hit that price level again. And you can say that's hopium, you can say that's unrealistic, but actually, that's very realistic. And I know while everybody thinks Bitcoin's going to stay around $10,000 forever, the fact is, as this bull market matures, that's not going to happen. And once Bitcoin breaks above all-time highs, we have about 9 months of insanely bullish price action. So we're going to start off by talking about this. And then we're going to get into some major news. Big things are happening on a regulatory level. And also, we're going to talk about the whole cryptocurrency market and what the hell is going on in DeFi. All that and more in today's video. Make sure you like the video, support the channel, comment below your thoughts, and let's get into it. First of all, I'd say the number one thing that people always forget when it comes to Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is more than just a technology. Bitcoin is money. And with money, one of the most important things about money is that trust and perception is a huge part of it. So what happened with Bitcoin over the last couple of days? Well, Bitcoin fell from $12,000, 17%, all the way down to $10,000, about $10,000. Bitcoin dipped back down to $10,000. Let that sink in. And my point with that is to say that over the past year or so, an $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 Bitcoin is the new normal, where just about 4 years ago, thinking about Bitcoin over a price point of $1,000, besides the hodlers, nobody thought that. So when I say prepare to never see this price level again, that's not to suggest that Bitcoin can't go below $10,000, $9,000, $8,000. I mean, I actually think it's very possible to see an $8,000 Bitcoin, since 8,000, high 8,000s, because that would be a retest of this triangle that it broke out of. I'm not holding my breath, because think about it like this. Let's talk about last cycle. Last cycle, near the bottom, Bitcoin spent months and months around $250. A lot of people thought it would go lower than $250, but it rallied up to about $500. So a lot of people FOMO'd in at $500. Then it fell back down to about $400. Now, I bet a lot of people were thinking, well, I'm going to wait until Bitcoin gets back down to the $250 or $300 level. And I'm going to buy Bitcoin then, because I don't want to buy Bitcoin at $400. That's too expensive. Well, months passed, and Bitcoin rallied up to over $700. A lot of people probably FOMO'd in when Bitcoin was $700, and it fell back down to about $600. And then by that point, I'm sure a lot of people were like, okay, well, I'm going to buy Bitcoin at $400 now because, I'll just wait till it hits $400 again and then I'll buy some more. But you had months and months to buy at the $600 level. You didn't do it. Eventually, it broke above the all-time high. And then as you see, last cycle, the cycle before that, after Bitcoin breaks above the all-time high, that's when things really start to ramp up. And you can even see they called this a right translated cycle when you go from the bottom to the top, and things start speeding up until the eventual top where you don't see that. The point is, as Bitcoin's bull cycle matures, the rallies get faster and faster. And while you had months and months near the bottom, things start speeding up. You had a few months here, less months here. And after Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, it pretty much just goes up, up, and up. So when we say that, prepare to never see this Bitcoin price level again, I'm not talking about $10,000, even $9,000. It could fall back down to $6,000. I'm sure that's possible. But what I'm saying is $3,000, I'd say off the table. The wick we had for $4,000, I'd say off the table. And guess what? When Bitcoin was around these levels, and even the $6,000 level, I was saying, a lot of people were saying, prepare to never see this Bitcoin price level again. And that happened. And then just one final thing before we move on to the recent news. It's also worth noting that the longer that Bitcoin's price can stay around 10,000 or stay down, the longer it can stay suppressed below $20,000, the better that will be for the breakout, the higher it will go. the longer it can build this base, as Alex said from Nuggets News. And by the way, if you haven't watched this interview, watch this interview. We pulled a few clips, but this whole interview is timestamped, so seek this out. Very good interview. And also, before we move on to recent news, it's also worth noting, I wouldn't be surprised if we did stay at this level. I said prepare to never see this level again, but also prepare to see this level for a month or two. Because actually, if you go from the last cycle top to how many months it took before it broke an all-time high, it took about 39 to 41 months, depending on how you measure. 39 to 41. Well, if you go from the top to where we are now, it's only been 32. So if you're judging from last cycle, it might not be until March, April of next year before Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, and I would say that'd be normal too. So the last few minutes of this video, I'm going to keep you informed everything that's happened in the cryptocurrency space in the last 24 hours. You are going to know about it, and we'll start right here. And I've said this before, to me, it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin hits $100,000. It's not an if that's going to happen, it's a when. And it's not only because Bitcoin is decentralized, it's incredibly hard, if not impossible, for any government or entity to stop it, but also because we're seeing green flags like this that set precedents that to me suggest a bullish future. So a major turning point has happened for regulatory status of one specific company. We're at CFTC.gov. This was just released September 2nd. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission today has announced that it has approved that LedgerX is authorized to provide clearing services for fully collateralized futures and options on futures, in addition to the previously authorized swaps, and will no longer be limited to clearing digital currency products. Again, this is what the CFTC should be doing, don't you think? This is a green flag in general. And sometimes you get those hardcore hodlers saying we don't need the government, we don't want the government. I think the government is inevitable, regulations are inevitable, and you might as well be seeing stuff like this. So congrats, Zach, congrats. Let's talk about perhaps the hottest story of the last 24 hours. It's the fact that the founder of SushiSwap DeFi protocol has cashed out. All these things have fun names. Chef Nomi swapped all his sushi holdings for Ethereum, claiming it was not an exit scam. So let's find out the details, and then you tell me below, is this an exit scam or is this not an exit scam? So Chef Nomi, the founder of SushiSwap, the latest decentralized finance protocol to flourish above the thriving canopy of this summer's DeFi craze, has cashed out. On Saturday, the self-described sushi chef withdrew approximately 2.5 million sushi tokens worth about $10 million from the decentralized exchange Uniswap in exchange for Ethereum. The move comes just after the SushiSwap creator was hit with mountains of criticism that he controlled nearly half of the coins in the system. So it was almost a prophecy. A Twitter poster going by the name of Sasa pointed out on Tuesday that Chef Nomi had 27 million worth of sushi ready to be dumped on the Sushi ETH pool. Turns out he was right. Since Chef Nomi withdrew the liquidity of the token, in other words, reduced the amount of sushi available to trade for ETH on Uniswap, the price of sushi more than halved in 24 hours. It had an all-time high of $10.81. But when he did this, it went from $5 to $2.35. The interesting thing is, in a tweet thread this morning, Chef Nomi explained that he exchanged all his sushi for ETH because I care about the community. And once again, I need your opinion on this. Comment below whether you think this is an exit scam or not. And if not, what is it? But he wrote, I wrote the mitigation code. I did all the audits. I coordinated the largest liquidity protocol pools ever. I created a large community. I sprung up hundreds of liquidity pool scam projects all in 1 week, he said. And despite the criticism to the contrary, Chef Nomi claims that the move was not an exit scam. I am still here, he said, although nobody appears to know his true identity or whereabouts. In defense of the sell-off, The chef modeled himself after Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin, who famously sold off all his holdings in the cryptocurrency space in 2018 at the top of Litecoin's peak. Satoshi Lite did that, and Litecoin had no problems surviving, according to Chef Nomi. First of all, I'd say that Satoshi Lite was one of the only founders who publicly said he was selling at the top. Everybody else did it, but Satoshi Lite was the only one who was honest about it, and he gets shit for it. I think this is an exit scam, in my opinion. Now, with these kind of DeFi protocols, they all say up front that this is not worth anything, don't invest, you don't know what you're doing. So all this stuff they say right away, stay away, highly speculative, because stuff like this happens all the time. And if we take a look at Sushi Swap right now, it is $1.91, down 60% today. Look at how young the price history is on this thing. You know what, guys? That is it for me today. Again, I want to recommend this interview we did with Alex Saunders of Nuggets News. Feel free to watch the 3 clips, then watch the full interview. That's it for me today, my friends. My name is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. See you tomorrow.